Hey, what's up, you guys? It's been a pretty minute since I last seen you guys. Today I'll be doing a movie review for an independent short horror film that was directed by a good friend of mine, Dove's Movie Reviews. This film is called The Stalker, and I know Dove is really proud of it, so let's get into this. So there's two versions of this film. The regular version, which is 2 minutes long, and then there's an unrated extended cut, which I'll be doing a review on both. So yeah, let's jump straight into the regular version, the original version, and let's start with the negatives. First thing, I don't like that there's not any intro music, but I get why there is none. And I also feel that there could have been a few more seconds added into the last act of this film, because the movie just ends abruptly during a certain point, which is during a certain chase scene, and I thought, well, shit, could have lasted a little longer. But with that being said, let's jump straight into the positives. There's a nice cinematography and a good score in this film. There's good acting for a no budget film. Great job to Dove and Isaac's films. There's a nice jump scare that leads to the short chase scene. So yeah, with that being said, I will give this short horror film a 7.5 out of 10. And so let's jump straight into the unrated extended cut. Like I said, we're going to start with the negatives and with the positives. So, first negative, like I said, there's no intro music in the original version, but there is intro music in this one, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. But it is a little catchy, but I know that this version is supposed to be lighthearted, but to me, it's just pretty much the same as the original. It's intense and dark. It's just I don't think the intro music sets the mood of this film, or it does, but it doesn't. I do enjoy the music, just not for this film. There's a scene where he's talking on the phone, where Dove is talking on the phone, and he's talking, but you don't see no mouth moving. I'm just what? Which that caught me off guard the first time I watched it. I'm like, I had to shake my head and be like, what's up with that? And there's another thing that I noticed. There's a scene where Dove is walking into a room, and the stalker is at the end of the room, behind the window and everything. And the way the camera is, it looks like Dove is already looking at him, and then he jumps back, on the floor, gets scared, and then he runs away. Wouldn't he have noticed him when he walked into the door? Because the stalker was there the whole time, I believe, unless the camera tricked us and somehow he managed to jump out of nowhere right as when you saw. But that's one thing that bothered me. But maybe next time for another film that you may work on, have it to where you're not looking at the stalker, but you're just looking down at something and then you look up and see it, because that is one way to do it. Or if he jumps out of nowhere. But let's jump into the positives with this unrated extended cut. I do like that, at least we have some intro music. And like I said, there's good acting for a no-budget horror film. And also, there's a nice twist at the end, which I'm not going to get into it. And that final scene was pretty good. I will give it that. I do really enjoy that final scene. But yeah, with that being said, I will give the unrated extended cut of The Stalker an 8 out of 10. And I really enjoyed this. This film and a few of YouTuber's Horror Domain, a few of his short horror films, really inspired me to do this. And also Dean W. Thomas, which he did the Halloween Panhandle Massacre fan film, which at first I wasn't the biggest fan, or I liked it. At first I liked it, but when I rewatched it, I looked at it with director's eyes, and me directing my new film, I'm gonna have to reshoot everything now that I got this haircut, So that's gonna be fun. But you look at things differently. So if I originally watched The Stalker without director's eyes, I probably would have gave this like a 6.5 out of 10. But I really appreciate what you did with this, and I really do recommend it to all you guys, which I really appreciate if you would go out and check it out. When you're directing your own film, or if you're directing a short horror film or whatever, you look at things differently, and that's how I looked at this film. That's how I looked at Halloween: The Panhandle Massacre, and that's how I'm looking at some of the short horror films that YouTubers Horror Domain has made. If you found any entertainment in this video, let me know in the comments below. With that being said, don't be scared to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It'd be highly appreciated. And peace.